Hey everybody, it's Andy. It's Thursday. It's noon Eastern, 11 Central, which means we're at live office hours with Andy, where I help you build a career you love. And today I'm ready. Man, I have got my triple shot Ristretto almond milk latte. We got tons of snow behind me. I got a lot of lights in the room. You should be able to see me. This is going to be fun, and thanks for spending a little of your day with me. And I see you guys are in the chat. I didn't get a chance to chitty chat with you because I was scrambling around the house doing a bunch of stuff. But great to see everybody. I hope, hang on. Looks like I need to refresh. Hopefully you guys are seeing me come through. There we go. Kara, let me know that we are okay. I think we're all good. Okay, so today we're all about you guys. Man, this is like I don't even know how many days in a row I have been live with somebody on some day. But today I'm here with you, my community, and I love it. Today's all about your questions. So we're going to dive right in. The only thing I want to ask you guys, I don't know if you saw the video I released on Tuesday, was about metrics that I harp on and focus on with people in the Mile Walk Academy. I know some of you whose job searches are not moving along as quickly as you'd like them. If you focus on the 5 metrics that I taught on Tuesday in the video that I released on my normal 6:30 Central Time every Tuesday video, you're going to get faster results. You're going to get better results. You're going to get faster results. It will be a lot more fun, and you will be in complete control of your job search. You're not in control of the outcomes, but you are in control of the activities. So I take you through a number of reasons why people generally get frustrated, how to look at this stuff, and then what activities to actually focus on and what metrics to tally so that you have a better sense of the overall health of your job search. And those metrics, if you focus on those, will lead to greater results. So I hope you catch that. Also, if you don't have Interview Intervention, we're rolling right along. It is still available. The hard book is available for free. You get the ebook and the audiobook, which is $27. You get that free. And you get a wonderful ebook called How to Interview the Employer, 75 Great Questions to Ask Before You Take Any Job. That's $27. That's free. It's just $7 shipping and handling anywhere in the world. So grab that and just have some fun with it. And if you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe, because it hurts me when you don't get my valuable content every Tuesday and when you don't show up to live office hours on Thursday. So make sure that you subscribe so you get the alerts. All right, so let's see who's here. Was Nick McKay first in line? He's an I-teamer. Hey, Mom, you let Nick McKay beat you to the show? Oh, well, I'm sure you were helping Dad with something. All right. Dan Morris, boot camper, great to see you. Diana, great to see you. Matt, we're just with you. Not however many hours ago that was. Manisha, how are you? Solid Snake 120, don't know that handle. First time here. Oh, that's first time here. All right. Stumbled on your stuff. Great. Wonderful to have you. Manisha, wishing my mom, God bless. I know, the woman is a saint. She should be sainted. Eric Sumner, great to see you. And it looks like this is a question. By the way, I always forget to mention this because I feel like some of you are, you're all repeat attenders. If you got a question, just put some question marks in front of the chat, because as we get rolling and a lot more people start to join and you start kibitzing with each other, that'll help me pick it out. But Eric, I gotcha. This is a fantastic question. Eric is asking, how soon should you share that you're no longer employed or were let go? How should you position it? So Eric and everybody, and I'm going to give you my general remarks about how I feel in general about any kind of disclosures. My default response is always be honest. So if if we're here now while we're doing this show in oh God, what month is it? November 2018. If you were recently let go in October 2018, then I would just put that on your resume. It's totally okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a few different elements you want to consider here. Number one, if you are a very tenured employee or worker where you are using only years on your resume, then I would just put 2013 to 2018 or whatever it was, and you can always articulate that in your interviews. If you were recently let go, in October, and you want to look at things like your LinkedIn profile. For that, I might be a little more relaxed about changing that. That's a public document. It is not a legal document. People don't run background checks off your LinkedIn profile. They run background checks off your application, which should coincide with your resume. So what I would do if it was me is if I was searching for a couple 3 months, I still would not update my LinkedIn profile until I started to get hits on interviews. I don't know that there's a hard and fast rule as far as exactly what I would put in there. The other thing is a lot of people, especially more tenured people, a lot of them tend to consult or get opportunities to do part-time work or consulting work. So there's a number of factors that go into it. But I don't have a specific number. I would keep my resume accurate, whenever that is, however that is, and then I would, with the LinkedIn profile, I would sort of let it dribble a little bit, because if people want to reach out to you and they think you're still working, for most people that will make you attractive, but for some people the fact that you are not employed will also make you attractive. So it's hard to say, but I would probably leave it open on your LinkedIn profile for as long as you can. But I hope that helps. And then how should you position it? Well, that's a different question. That's the best thing that I would recommend there is when you talk about positioning it, I'm assuming you mean when you're in a job interview. When you're in a job interview, if you were in fact let go, I always recommend that you address it head on. Meaning, if I was recently let go from Mile Walk because Kara fired me, I would go into the world and I would say I was recently let go. I would actually be specific. I was terminated. Now, you could have been terminated for a number of reasons. It could have been a reduction in force, in which case you were part of a larger group. That's a little easier to explain. But the worst scenario is you were surgically fired for performance reasons. If that is the case, the way I would handle it is I would say to the interviewer, I was recently let go. I wasn't performing as effectively as they wanted in this area, and then that's it. And I would not spend any more time talking negatively about the situation. But I recognized after reflecting on this situation that this was a wonderful thing because I learned whatever you learned from the experience, what it's taught you in the way of identifying the next step. What this also taught me was that my greatest strengths lied here, or that I needed to improve those skills, and so forth. And then talk about what you've done. So I did some self-reflection to identify that I want to go in this direction, or I did some extra training where I got more up to speed and learned more nuances, and so on and so forth. Whatever direction it is that you want to go, you want to be talking always about what you are, not what you're not. So, and what you did, not what you didn't do. So that's how I would handle that. And just, you know what? I'll be honest with you. When somebody says that to me, I think, stand-up guy. I like that. You own it. You don't give me some defensive excuse about an employer who was probably right about you being terminated. So remember, they don't know you and they don't know the employer. They're going to make an assumption that the employer was correct. And if you go into a lofty explanation about why the employer was not correct, it's going to sound defensive, and you're going to chew up a lot of your interview minutes explaining yourself and what effectively has a negative undercurrent to it. So you want to get off that right away. So that's how I would handle that. That's how I would position it. So I hope that helps. All right. Kay Beatrice, how are you? Haven't seen you in a long time. Okay. Kay, and I think you might have emailed me this one, but let's take a shot at it here. I'm glad you asked me live because this is a lot easier to explain. All right, so Kay's asking, how can I prepare for my role as education director? How can I prepare myself to get ready to step into this new role or to a new role? How do I gain their confidence in me as their new supervisor? Now, the first thing, Kay, so bear with me on this. It is a incredibly lofty question. You're throwing me into a big ocean here because there's an awful lot of things that you can do in order to gain their confidence. Now, I don't know if I remember correctly in your background, you actually have the assets and the knowledge to do this job. I think the one, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, I think the one gap you were a little concerned about had to do with the supervisory responsibilities, just the management of the people. So if that's the case, and if I remember correctly, and really for anybody who's stepping into a role, I always break it up into a number of areas to focus on. So the first thing is the preparation. So if there are areas that you are in your own mind, you need to brush up on, or you need to knock the rust off, or you need to gain the experience, I would go out and get the help. So meaning if it was the supervisory stuff, I would probably be following leadership consultants, reading their books, reading their blogs, and so on, just as far as good team management practices. So that's one element you can educate yourself on. The other thing is nothing works better when managing people than understanding and appreciating them as humans, not as workers, but as humans. What is it that they want that will help them thrive? Meaning each one of them, let's say you have 10 people. You got 10 different personalities. I don't care if they're twins. You got 10 different personalities that you as a great manager need to manage. The best thing that you can do early on in your role is to sit down with each of them individually. Do not sit down with them as a group. Okay? You sit down with them as an individual. You are expressing, whether you say it but you're doing it, is that you're important. This time is important. I'm willing to spend whatever time I need to understand you, what your goals are, what you want to get out of this role, the things that interest you, the things that don't, and all of that good stuff. You need to listen. You need to identify that, and then you need to work within the framework of the scope of the responsibilities of what it is you're managing and what it is they're doing to help them grow in those areas. Some of them are going to need direction and want more of your time. Others are going to want you to leave them alone. They want you to give them the strategy or the goal or whatever, and they might want to develop their own plan and work it. You have to figure out what autonomy you can grant them. But it all starts with sitting down with them and making sure that you understand what it is that drives their happiness. It's almost as if you're doing a reverse interview, like I taught you in the boot camp, all the self-awareness stuff up front. You need to flip all that over and you need to ask them for theirs as if you were interviewing them for a job, even though you're not. What you're doing is you're soliciting what's important to them. You get that information, and then you start looking at, okay, how am I going to build a great relationship with this person? Trust is a funny thing. In my case, I'm a very trustworthy person in my own mind, and if I say something to you, you can bank on it, and I know I will deliver. What that often does is people actually project their own insides when they're dealing with somebody on the outside, which means I will trust you. I will trust you if you say you're going to do it, even if I don't have a long-standing relationship with you. You'll have my trust, and now it's basically, it could even go higher, and higher, or what is more likely is it'll only go down. So that's me. Other people, they don't trust anybody. They're not trustworthy. They don't trust people outwardly. You're going to have to learn how to earn their trust, and that'll just take time. But being consistent, delivering solidly, treating them professionally, and all that good stuff will gain their trust. And actually, trust is more important than confidence in this case, especially with a new team. The fact that they trust that you got their back. And that, to me, is where I would start. Now, you'll get more confidence in them as your supervisor if you are demonstrating that you know what you're doing and you're treating them respectfully, I should say. So that's where I would start, and I would break it down, and I would make sure I had a plan, and I would make sure I had questions for the individuals as I was going into that new role. So, okay, imagine me and you, like we talked about in the boot camp, where I said, okay, here's a list of popular requirements and happiness factors for all the 15,000 people that we've interviewed at Mile Walk. And I broke them down for you and I listed them for you. And now you have this fantastic matrix that you are going to use to identify your requirements as you look for your next job. And then you're going to have questions that you would ask an employer. I want you to imagine sitting down with your people and helping them list out 10 of those that are really important to them. Think in terms of that matrix. They will likely be calling out requirements right off that matrix. And so make a list and identify that and kind of keep a little folder on everybody of what drives them. Don't rely on your memory. Don't rely on your memory because you're just meeting them and you have, however many people it is to manage. Those are the things that I would do. So it's getting yourself educated on some areas that you might need to improve your skills, putting a plan together to make sure you can communicate with them individually and start building a little list of their requirements and how you can help them and how you can mentor them and help them grow and all that good stuff. So there's an educational component, there's a planning component, and so on. But I think that'll do you a solid if you lay it out that way. So I hope that helps. And there's no way I could have put that in an email. All right. May Young, how are you? I still remember that wonderful LinkedIn message you sent me. Thank you, and I love it, and lots of luck. Fingers and toes crossed. Oh, wait, hang on. You got a question here coming. All right, so you interviewed 3 people, emailed 3 thank you letters. Okay, wonderful. Feeling good. Should I also follow up with a card? If so, how can I be less redundant in the content, and does it have to be a different design for each or the same? Okay, May. Thank you for serving this one up because this is such a great one. Everybody, let's go through the evolutions of awesomeness when it comes to thank yous. All of you who are interviewing, it doesn't matter if it's a phone interview, an in-person interview, a video interview, a group interview, a whatever, a dinner interview, a cocktail interview, a coffee interview. It doesn't matter. Whenever you go and you speak to somebody that in some way, shape, or form has influence or input into whether that organization hires you, send an email thank you. That's ground zero. That makes you just like everybody else. Now, you want to take it to the next level. On page 83 of this book, or in the Interview Intervention course, there is an email template that is for a email or a card thank you, and specifically what you should say to be more awesome than everybody else. Okay, so that's the second layer. Now, May, I'm assuming you did that. So you sent those emails, and that email did 3 things. That thank you email, it thanked them for their time, it sold you better. So there's a middle part where you talk about why you're the best person for the job. And if you met with 3 people, the first portion of the email could have been the same for all of them. Thank you so much for your time. The middle part should have been unique to each one of those in an area that sold you best, but connected on something you and they spoke about individually. And if you met with all 3 people in the same interview, like a panel interview, it still should be different in that middle piece. And then the bottom piece, the third part of the thank you email, is about your excitement. You're more interested, you have more insight, and all that good stuff. All right, that's the email you rifle off. Now, what I like to do, more awesomeness, is you send a thank you card. And in your email, because you want to be speedy and you want to make sure that they get the email right away, you want to send that email within 24 hours. In that email, if your intention is to also send a handwritten card, which I always do, which almost nobody does, but if you are going to mail a card, it's going to take a little longer to get to them, which is why you want to make sure you send the email first so that they get something within the first 24 hours. In that email, you can also mention, I've also dropped a little something in the mail for you. Keep an eye out for it. Okay? All you're doing is you're telling them, hey, look for your mail. When you write the card, you want to be a little bit more casual, and you don't necessarily want to repeat yourself. You want to actually say something new, but it should have a personal touch to it. I want to thank you again, for the opportunity to meet with you. The more I thought about it, and then something else, and just something different, something personal. And if you're smart, you will keep that thank you incredibly short. The handwritten, incredibly short. Do not write them a book. Do not fill both sides of the card. If you got a folding card, only write on one side. Okay? Only write on one side. And just let them read it quickly. The power of the handwritten card is the fact that they physically have to open something, which they likely will open, that it stimulates a different part of their brain. No one else is doing it, so you're going to get a leg up on the other candidates. And we actually had somebody ask this in the Mile Walk Academy, I believe it was, in one of the private coaching sessions about, hey, I was first in line. I interviewed on Monday. And I think they had more people to interview like later in the week or the following Monday. So that person's got the thank yous in right away. Well, guess what? You mail those thank you cards, they're going to be getting them by the time they're interviewing those other candidates. So that's another added bonus of doing this stuff. But trust me, and I've told this story before, the last job that I had before I opened Mile Walk, so in 2003, late 2003, I had interviewed with a company. I ended up interviewing with like 8 or 9 people, very senior job. I got the offer. I had the interviews. Before I had the offer, I'd sent everybody thank you emails and then cards. So here with this, I wasn't even a recruiter. I did something else, but I knew to send that. I ended up getting the job. I go into the company, and the first day on the job, I went to every interviewer and wanted to say hello. Thanks for putting in the good word. Every single one of them had the thank you card on their desk or in their office or on their windowsill or wherever. And I said, hey, you got my card. And every single one of them said the same thing. Of course. That was so nice. No one does that. So that was how many years ago? 15 years ago or whatever. It's the same thing. It's even worse now. I'm sure even less people do it. So that's what I would do, and that's why it's so important. So I hope that helps, and I wish you lots of luck. I hope if you feel good, I feel good. All right. Solid Snake. Good. Kimberly. Good morning to you. Steve Smith, how are you, buddy? Long time no see. You're welcome, May. Daniel Gomez, I hope it's sunny in Florida. All right. Ideas by Supreet. Most expected video today. I love this. Hey, by the way, can I do a little... so 2 things. If you're loving this, make sure you subscribe. There's this new thing on YouTube. I have not tried it yet. And it's called Premieres. Now, every Tuesday morning at 6:30 my time, Central Time in the US, I release a video. Virtually every week. Maybe not next week, it's Thanksgiving, I'm off, but then the next 4 weeks you'll get a video. What we have not done yet, because I'm with you live every Thursday, is YouTube now has a premiere feature that allows us, you and me and Kara, to watch my new video on Tuesday together and chat with each other while it's going on. You can't fast forward it because it's got to run. It's an actual premiere. But it allows us to be live and chat and chitty chat about it. We haven't tried it. It's something I think I want to try. But if that's something that you'd actually be interested in, and you don't have to put, no, I'm not interested. But if you're interested in something like that, hit me in the chat and say, yeah, that would be cool, and we'll try it one of these days. But because I'm live with you so much, we haven't really tested it out yet, and I want to learn a little bit more about it. But it's called YouTube Premieres, and it lets us screen the video together. But it allows me to sit there with you and answer your questions in the chat. So if that's something you'd be now, I don't know. It's 6:30 in the morning on I don't know what time it is your time, 6:30 Central US on Tuesdays. But if that's something you're interested in, let me know and say, hey, yeah, I mean that'd be cool. But we're gonna try it out. All right. Let's see. The Pop-Tart. If you had a great... I'm assuming this is a question. Okay. If you had a great first interview and the employer told you they would be in touch about a second interview next week, should you contact them if that week has come and gone and you haven't heard from them? Yes. Yes, but let's give you, so it's a yes or no question, but I'm not going to give you a yes or no answer. Yes, do that. Right now, as soon as we're done, you contact them. Everybody, anytime you go into an interview, you have to end each interview process, that is a visit to an office, a phone screen, a video screen, whatever interview type it is, you always want to do a number of things. You want to ask my reservations question. If you don't know what the reservations question is, get this, okay? If you want to make sure that you sell yourself, and there's a technique that I give you also in the book to do that. When you're done, you need to make sure that your own expectations are managed. I'm really excited about this. What's the next step? So it can be, what is the next step, Mr. or Mrs. Boss Man or woman? Okay. And if they're able to tell you that, hey, I love you so much that we're going to bring you back in a week. Or I have to interview a couple people tomorrow. I'm going to call you on Friday. Regardless of what that is, you always want to make sure that you know what would the next step be. So I just got done interviewing. That's fine that you have other people in the process. What would be the next step? When will I hear about that? You always want to ask. So I might say something like, well, hey, hey, the Pop-Tart, the next step would be to bring you back to meet the general manager of blah, blah, blah. But before we do that, I have some interviews this week. We're going to know by the end of the week who we want to bring in to meet him or her, and you'll hear from us by Monday or Tuesday or within a week or whatever. You want to get some kind of time frame. If the time frame is a week, like as in we'll call you in a week, then you want to wait, if you don't hear from them, 10 calendar days, meaning from when the clock started and they said, we'll call you in a week, you wait the 7 days and then you wait 3 more. If they say, we'll call you tomorrow, then you give them 1 day and you call them the next day. If they say, we'll call you in a couple days, and they don't call you in a couple days, you give them a couple more days. So the shorter the time frame, the shorter you wait. The longer the time frame, you want to give them a little leeway. Okay? But every single one of you can ask, I'm super excited. What's next? If they say, I'm not sure, what would be next? You always want to know where you're going. You always want to know what to look forward to, and you always want to make sure that you have something on your calendar that says, I need to call them today if I do not hear from them by this day. Okay? So I hope that helps. It's, by the way, this is not specific to you. It has nothing to do with you, but it irritates the crap out of me when employers do this, when they say, hey, I'm going to call you, and they don't. That's just terrible. That's bad form. It really is. They owe you more than that, even if you're not the right person for them. So, I mean, they need to be respectful, and it's a huge pet peeve of mine. Stick to your word. Okay, hope that helped. Richard, great to see you. All right, Nick, let's see. What do you got? Say you are one of 2 final candidates. The other candidate has 6 months of experience in an identical role, different company, and you have none. How do you convince the panel to choose you? Awesome question. Awesome question. All right, so you've got to overcome the specific skills experience issue. Now, what you didn't tell me, Nick, but let's just assume you have it. So 6 months, by the way, is 180 days. And if you take out weekends, it's what, 120 days? It's not a lot. It's not a lot more experience. It is more, but it's not a ton more. So I think your bigger issue here is you have no experience. So if you had a year and the other person had 18 months, I would handle it differently. But since you have no experience, the suggestion I'm going to give you is specific to this scenario. So I want everybody to understand that, because I would handle it differently if it was, he or she had a little more than I did. But since you have none, what you need to do is you need to crush the interview in different areas. Now, I don't know if you are familiar with the hiring prophecies. And if you're not familiar with the hiring prophecies, which is that's actually my Gold Award winning book, it's about recruitment and hiring and all that good stuff, obviously. I go into the factors that are most important for organizations when they hire. The 4 factors that are the leading indicators of recruiting and retention success are cultural fit. That's the first one by millions of miles. The second one is capabilities. That's your capacity to perform a function without having done it yet, but having the foundational traits that will make you a good whatever it is that you're focusing on. And then your track record of achievement, so your decision patterns, your career slope, and those other things, regardless of what your career slope is. And then the 4th thing is the specific skills, which you're talking about. Think about that. It's the 4th most important thing in a hire is the skill. So I would be spending a lot of time in the interview doing a couple things, focusing on cultural fit and making sure that I was harping on questions about, what type of people do well in this role. Don't focus on the skills, focus on the traits. It's always easier to teach the trade than it is to teach the traits, meaning I can probably teach you that experience more so than I can teach you cultural fit and capabilities and that other stuff. So you want to focus on how you are culturally aligned, how you have the appropriate foundational traits. So while I don't know what your particular trade is, we do a lot of work with salespeople. For a salesperson, if I had one salesperson here and another salesperson here, and I have a product, and this person here had 6 months more experience selling these consumer product goods, okay, and this person had never sold consumer product goods, I would start looking at the foundational traits. What are their selling tactics? Are they organized? Do they have good psychological skills? Do they have good listening and communication skills? All this other stuff. Are they culturally aligned to my organization, and so on? So I'm going to be far more interested in those other things. So when you are telling your stories in the interview, when you're responding to the interview questions, you want to make sure that you know what those foundational traits are. So if you're a salesperson, then you want to know influence, psychology, organizational tactics, all follow-up, research, so on and so forth. And you want to be harping on those. And you also want to highlight how you educate yourself when you do not know the particular skill. In the book again, in chapter 6, it is the 14 most effective job interview questions you can be asked, why the employer asks them, what the employer is looking for, and the very best responses. One of those questions is, how do you educate yourself? And then I have variations of that. Whenever you have a gap like you do, you have to educate yourself. So there's a response in the book that tells you exactly how I would squash that question. And so that should be an element of your answer as well. And so how do you get up to speed? How do you plan and collapse that learning curve? And so on and so forth. So you want to include that as well. So I hope that helps. I would, get the book if you don't have it. It's free with the $7 shipping and handling. And if you go to, chapter 6, question number 10, I would add that as a component and work that response in somewhere. And it will come out naturally. They're not going to ask you specifically how do you educate yourself. They're going to ask you some variant of that, or you can just fill it in for them. But I would definitely do that. Hey, you're not going to have to worry about me coming up to speed. And I have all these other things that you can't teach. That's what I would do. Kimberly, Michelle, I do have the book on Kindle and iTunes, or iBooks, and Nook for Barnes & Noble and whatever. It is out there. It actually costs you like $9 for just the Kindle version. The audiobook is only in the Mile Walk Academy. The PDF beautifully formatted ebook fits all devices. You just swipe, you drop it right in your device, and you can open it up on your iPad, on your Kindle, and all that good stuff. So it's all there. I have issues with the publisher and the distribution channels for what can be placed out in the market. So I took it upon myself, because I own rights to the book, to format it the way that I want, put it in the Mile Walk Academy. I give it to you free. So I hope that helps. But don't go pay the $9 for the Kindle version, because all my stuff fits that. And wait, you get the hardbound, which is $29. You get the ebook free. You get the audiobook free. And you get the extra ebook, How to Interview the Employer. As a matter of fact, if you already bought the Kindle book, just go get the package anyway. It's totally worth it. And the audio is broken out by chapter, so you can listen to it in your car for only the stuff you need. And if you only want to listen to the 14 questions I just mentioned, each one of those is recorded separately, so you can replay it over and over again. I was always thinking of you. Actually, you should see the picture of me recording that some years ago. I had no idea I would be talking to you today, looking through the camera lens with people in every inhabited, from every inhabited continent in the world. But I had a feeling something like this would happen someday. I just didn't know it was going to be now. All right. Keith, good to see you again. Shanti, great to see you. Mad Hatter. Enola, how are you? Been a while. MK, how you doing? Desiree, and everybody else. Everybody else is a first-timer. Can all you old-timers give the first-timers a high five, please? All right. Oh, can I say something about this? I'm not kidding here, and I know this is going to sound like a gratuitous plug, but we are monitoring this in the Mile Walk Academy, what I'm about to say to you. I don't know if you've seen my video on how to get noticed on LinkedIn, and I give you some insight as to how to get noticed, meaning how to drive traffic to your profile, which then leads to becoming getting placed higher in searches that recruiters and HR people are doing when they're looking for somebody like you. One of the things that drives traffic to your LinkedIn profile is circulation and sharing of your own articles or other people's articles or commenting on other people's articles and so on. So in the Mile Walk Academy, what I tell these people is you could, as a benefit to me, obviously, but as a benefit to yourself, circulate my stuff. Because if you circulate my stuff, people will see it. They will click on your profile, which will drive your profile views. But think about the content of the material that I put out on LinkedIn. It is a great platform for job seekers and people who are looking to connect on jobs. So my articles should be of interest to them. Now, I circulate it from my profile, but you could circulate it. And not only does that help me, which I appreciate, but it will help you because it will drive traffic. And as a matter of fact, somebody, Mira in the boot camp, said she joined the boot camp because she watched that video. She then started to do what I mentioned, and then she got 3 contacts within like 8 hours of her jamming on the stuff. And she says, so then I joined your boot camp because of that. And I'm telling you, this stuff works. And we have people in our Facebook groups that say the same thing, that they see a precipitous uptick in their profile views when they share my stuff because it's relevant, So thank you for that. And, I hope others can benefit, and it certainly helps me, which I appreciate. And great to see you. Manhatter, great to have you. Shell, great to see you. Don't know if you were on the session last night. Julio, how you doing, buddy? Another boot camper. Couple of boot campers, boom, boom, back to back. I love it. All right. How do I surface evidence of learning capability in light of ageism? Julio, I'm not sure. I'm not sure specifically what you mean by evidence of learning capability in light of ageism. If you do me a favor and you head to the bottom and you just kind of fill in more insight, we'll have Kara watch for it. She'll Slack it to me, and then I'll see it, and then I'll answer it after I complete the next question or two. All right, ideas by Supreet. Have a question. I've been doing training on one of the new technologies, okay, but no hands-on experience, okay. What would be the best way to put that on the resume? Okay, so I love this. And I have a mini case study for you. But so this is very common and very good that you're doing this. If you are looking to get a job in a particular technology where you do not have the hands-on experience, there's a couple of things that you can do, and then you ask specifically, how do I put that on the resume? So, a couple things. If it is certifiable, not that you're certifiable, if the training is something that you can attain a certification for, or any kind of certificate for completing a program or a training or whatever, what I would do is, if you have completed it, that's awesome. If you are an Ideas by Spree, I'm not sure if you have the Andrew LaCivita resume template, but if you do, there's a career profile at the top. In the second paragraph, we talk about core competencies, but you can additionally put in major certifications or any recent schooling or whatever in the career profile at the very top. So, recently attained certification in, if you want to do that. If you are taking the training and you have not attained the certification, you can put at the end of the career profile, undertaking certification training for whatever it is. And then the word certification and the thing is in there. But stuff like that. Then what I would do is, in the education section, you can add additional things. Or since you're a technologist, you might have a whole technical skills section. Now, for technologists, what I recommend is you put your most valued technologies in the career profile, and then at the bottom of the resume, you list those particular skills or certifications or whatever. There's many different ways to skin that, lots of good ways, but I would put it in again at the bottom. That's how I would do that. It is working wonders. We have somebody in the Job Search Bootcamp who went through the bootcamp process. He was a senior guy, well-tenured, 25-year professional, had technology skills, customer support skills, a number of other things in technology that and in an industry that is relatively dying. So what did he do? He left his job or got let go or whatever, but no longer employed, went out and got a Salesforce administration certification, and is now interviewing with Salesforce.com. So, I mean, and other companies that value the fact that he has the sysadmin or whatever it is certificate for that. Hugely open doors for him. And we just repackaged his resume, just like I mentioned, and he's well on the way. He's in the 4th interview now, and this is going really great. But that's a wonderful way to get in front of the right people. All right, hope that helped. All right, if you guys are loving this, come on, man. We still got 17 minutes. I have a hard stop today at noon my time because I have a meeting to go to. But if you're liking it, click the like button. Make sure you're subscribed and share this. People can still jump in. It's amazing what 15 minutes of love will do for you. Okay. All right, Thomas, how are you? Tried to get hiring manager's email through LinkedIn. It was off limited to give out his email. Does this happen a lot? I'm not sure what you mean by it was off limited. So what I do is I look at if I'm connected to the person, you should be able to get their contact info. LinkedIn doesn't ban that. If the person didn't want to give you his email, that's the different story. If you are simply looking for the hiring official's email and you've located the hiring official and his name is Andrew LaCivita, and you want to get him at Mile Walk, then what you can do is you can do a couple things. A real quick way to start is simply go into Google, put open quotes, put the @ put milewalk.com, close the quote. Okay, that's the domain name, and then just search Google. And because we have a lot of our stuff out there, my LaCivita at milewalk.com email is going to pop right up. You'll see it right like somewhere on the first page. Or you will see other variations of that. That's one way. You're not looking necessarily you're looking for me, but if you're looking for him or her, you need to look at other emails that are formatted for that domain. So first name dot last name at companyxyz.com or whatever it is. Okay. That's one way. Another way is there's a system called hunter.io, I think it is. Same kind of thing. What you could do is there's a website called verifyemailaddress.org. If you go to verifyemailaddress.org, and what you can do is you can say, well, hey, I found through Hunter.io or Googling that it looks like it's first initial last name at milewalk.com. So I'm guessing Andy's email is LaCivita at milewalk.com. I'm guessing. Then what you can do is you can go into verifyemailaddress.org and put that in. And then that particular system will say, yes, that's a valid email address. Now you are continually raising your probability that I got the right address for that guy. And then you send him an email. That's what I would do. But believe me, it is not hard. If you cannot figure out the email address of that person, I will be pretty darn shocked. And if it's not LaCivita, then you send it to andrewlacivita.com or whatever. You just keep rolling till you get it. And then there's other tools. I mean, you can get really sophisticated. You can pay for tools to see if they open the email and all that stuff. But what I gave you is free. So I hope that helps. Danny, DD, how are you? Great to see you. Shanti looks like a question. How long can I leave that LinkedIn profile not updated? What if that's over a year? And can we leave it as open or just update the resume? Listen, LinkedIn is nothing. LinkedIn to me it's not a legal document. If you feel as though I've been out of work for a long time and I do not want to put that on my LinkedIn profile, you do that, because so what? It's my LinkedIn profile. I didn't put it on there. If they're going to give you an opportunity and you're going to send your resume in, just send in the updated resume. Just explain, hey, I've been looking for a while. I haven't found the right thing, and so on. You can go as long as you want. Personal preference. What I would not do in LinkedIn is put currently seeking opportunities as your headline. You do not want that. For so many reasons. And I'm not even going to go into it. Just don't do it. All right. Solid Snake 120. When reaching out to individuals to apply for positions that may not exist, I already love this one. Should the email be your cover letter, or should you attach a full cover letter and just reference it in a message? Solid Snake, I love this one. I shot a whole video for you called How to Apply When There's No Job Opening, and I give you my 7-sentence cover letter. Go to it, check it out, download the free cover letter, and go. It is my favorite cover letter. I got a whole cover letter playlist out there, and the 4-sentence cover letter's got 700,000 or 800,000 YouTube views on it. But the no job opening cover letter is the best. It's the best. It's the most effective, the most pliable. You can massage it, and you can use it in any situation. So go check that out. All right. Kara, how am I doing? 12 more minutes. Okay. Daniel Gomez got a question. I bet it's not snowing by you. Had a job interview with the hiring manager on Tuesday. Excellent. For a senior engineer position. My relevant experience matches 95% of the recs in the job description, even better. Hit it off and had a great 2-hour conversation, mostly future looking. At the end, he said he liked everything, but was unsure about a skill not in the job description that we had said I was not proficient. Okay, he made no clear commitment to get back to me. Boo. Okay, wait, hang on. I think you got more here. All right, hang on, Sean. I got to skip over that. I sent thank you emails and card later in the day. Awesome. In the email, I said that I will call him Monday if I don't hear from him before. I think it will be a great fit and want the job. I can gain proficiency on the skill. I know you can. Any suggestions? So, first thing is, so Daniel, and for you and for everybody else, we just said, I hope you have this. Question 10, chapter 6. How do you educate yourself? that is code for you don't know something that they want. All of you, that's code for I don't know something that they want. I don't have the experience. I don't have the whatever. Now, in your case, you crushed it 95% and you got this one little item. Whenever there's a reservation that you don't have something that I want, I wish you did, you want to do a couple things. You want to go into the how you educate yourself response. It ought to be automatic. That's true. I've yet to have the opportunity to do that. That's the first thing. You're done. You're done with the negativity. That's it. And it even sounded kind of positive. Then what you want to say is, when I'm faced with, with a particular skill that I have not encountered for, here's what I do. I draw on, but I do have this experience, or this, which is analogous. So I will apply the learnings and my experience from that to apply it to this situation. And then the third part of the answer is, when I am faced with a situation where I do not have the experience, here's my plan for how I get up to speed. And then you go into that, and then you crush that. Then what that does is it dampens the reservation. So yeah, I admitted it. I don't have that. So, but you can take some comfort in knowing, Mr. Interviewer, that I do have all this, which I can apply. And here's my plan of attack to shrink the learning curve. And from a memory standpoint and from a processing standpoint, people will always place greater weight on recency in all scenarios. So you just got done spending 5 times as much time talking about all the goodness that is you, and you spent 5 seconds on that you didn't have that. Okay, so they're feeling better. Now, so that's how to handle that in the future if that comes up. How you address this situation is, if what I would do is, or what I would have done on Wednesday, in your thank you email, I would have crushed that. So I would have said, I'm a great fit for the company and for this role because of all this. And on the issue, and related to your question about boom, and then I would have filled in why you'd crush that, and then I would have dampened it then. Then what I would have done, okay, so that would have been Wednesday. Now you're or actually that was yesterday, I guess it was. Now what I would do is I would wait till Monday. I'm assuming you mean Monday, as in a couple days from now. And I would follow up, and I probably would say, hey, because I'm assuming you didn't do what I would have done yesterday. I would do that on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever, or maybe Tuesday. I actually would probably wait. Unless you said, I'll call you. In an email you said you'll call Monday. You got to call him Monday. And while you're live, if you get him, you need to do that. You need to talk about how you educate yourself and why that's not an issue. And then the other thing that I would do is, you mentioned about it being future stuff, future looking. Well, if you are in a situation where you need the job now, then you want to also toss in, well, if you think I'm a great match, are there any other areas in your company where, with opportunities that I would be suitable for, or that would be suitable for me? And is there anything else that comes to mind? And open up that if you need to speed it up. But that's how I would handle that. Folks, and Daniel and everybody else, do not let anybody tell you you're not good enough at something, or you're not good enough, you don't have enough, you don't whatever. Don't let them get away with that. And then what you want to do in the interview is you want to make sure you talk about what you are and why that challenge is surmountable by you. So make sure you do that. Okay. I want to go back to Julio. And Kara is telling me something. Hang on. Oh, I didn't toggle my stamps. Hang on. Oh, okay. I haven't gotten to that yet. All right. Going back to Julio's question. It says, it's clear from my CV or my LinkedIn profile, if I hide that I am 55 plus. On one side, this is seniority and experience. It is to me, buddy. On the other hand, I'm afraid younger recruiters dismiss my application on the basis of does not understand our technology, can't learn our technology. Here's what I would do. Julio, and I know you're in the program, but I do have some videos on ageism. For any of y'all that are in my demographic, the over 50 crowd, and like Julio, three things here. I have a video for you, Bud, and everybody else about job search advice for over 50-year-olds. I'm not going to go into all the tactics. This is something I address there. Go check that out. Then I also have a video on how to overcome age discrimination in a job interview or during a job interview. Check that video out because I speak to how you can get, overcome that in hand-to-hand combat. Now, on your link file, in any description about any of you all that are older, you've got to make sure you are using current terminology in your descriptions, okay? And in technologies where appropriate and in the descriptions, okay? And then what I would also do is I would take off the dates on your whatchamacallit, on your education. I might drop some of the early stuff. One other thing that I tell people that they can do, I look how I look, you know what I mean? You guys see me every week. But for a lot of you, you've got pictures that are out there and on LinkedIn, and I recommend that you have a picture no matter how old you are. Now, there's a couple things about the picture on LinkedIn, and pictures are very important. Pictures are very important. We don't want a picture from 15 years ago so that when you walk in, you don't even look like you. What you could do in LinkedIn is you actually can do a black and white picture. And black and white pictures have a way of masking our little wrinkles and crow's feet and all that other crow's feet and whatever else shows us that we're not youthful anymore. But that's another thing you can do. But you just want to make it clean. You don't want it to be black and white and fuzzy. You want to make it clean, but it should look pretty darn good. And if you are going to use the black and white trick, then what I would do is I would make sure that you take that with a high resolution camera, okay, so that it's a super good picture, and then you just make it black and white. But that's another one. But those are all. Kara, do me a favor. Let me know if YouTube is flashing at me. It looks like I'm okay, but the output was really low. Folks. Hopefully I'm not going to lose you. I just want to refresh my screen. That could have been just me. It stalled for a few seconds. By the way, anytime, YouTube's a little funky, but anytime you're not sure, refresh your browser. And let me go back up to where I was. I lost, okay, Kara, hang on, let me see if I can get the chat back. Here we go. All right, Kara, I lost the chat. I'm back at 11:11. And the one that I see is Solid Snake 120 at 11:11. Then Joshua Browerman is there. And I don't know if I missed anybody who managed to get a question in. But Kara, if I did, can you let me know? When I had to refresh my browser because I wasn't sure if it was me, the browser, or my streaming software. All right, 11:10. Mark Franklin, hey buddy, Kara gotcha. Thank her. All right, did an M-Pharm in the UK, then moved back to Canada. I have 3 years of research experience, self-taught Python and other software. I've realized I'm not interested in pharmacy. I've had one interview. I don't know if okay, Kara, I'm not sure where the rest of that is. I see something from, sorry guys, that's all he posted. Okay, Mark, sorry about that. Doesn't look like we've got anything else on that. All right, Nday. Hi, Andy. I wanted to know whether or not a pregnancy is a barrier for a job search. If not, should we let the employer know about this? Thank you so much. You are so welcome. Great to have you in the Mile Walk Academy. Glad we got that sorted out this morning. But you should be all set with the coaching for December, January, February, and the interview course and all that good stuff. All right. So, pregnancy, folks, ladies, this is a tough one. ideally, there's so many things about the pregnancy. There's the pregnancy itself, and you obviously I want you to be healthy, want you to be able to go through the pregnancy with not a lot of stress. And, the more things you change at any moment, having a child and changing jobs are 2 of the 5 most stressful things in your life. So, my first piece of advice will always be for your health and safety. If you can, and by the way, I obviously don't know your whole situation. I happen to know that you're married, but the first thing is I would make sure you care for you. Second thing is, if you are pregnant, you could be 3 months pregnant, you could be 1 month pregnant, you could be 7 months pregnant, and you're going to do different things depending on where you are. The first thing that I would caution you of is if you are employed and you're on your benefits, I would be very careful about changing jobs. So and this is all about you. Now, you might be on your husband's insurance, in which, for you, and that's okay. And if the insurance is not an issue, then that's an issue we don't need to deal with. But when you go to an employer, they are going to be very concerned simply because you are going to have a baby. Even if you tell them that, hey, I am pregnant, I don't plan on taking any time off. You're obviously going to be off when you have the baby. You're going to be off for some period of time after you have the baby, even if it's a short while. So I don't love the move itself simply because I don't love it for you. Now, the employers are going to be very careful about wanting to hire you, and some of this you won't be able to hide. I mean, if you're 1 month pregnant or 3 months pregnant, obviously you don't need, they're not going to see it. But if you're 6 or 7 months pregnant, they're going to notice that. And even if they don't say that they're going to discriminate, like, hey, we wouldn't do that, they will. So I want you to be very, very careful. Personally, if you can afford to, I would wait until after I had the baby to actually make the change. And you might not know, we have a lot of situations with employers that we've worked with who the individual, the woman who had the baby, claimed that she was going to come back to work and decided to change her mind. And that's totally okay. That's her life. So a lot can happen. Now, I don't know how much good this is for you and how much this is helping, but this is just my honest assessment about this, is that you want to be careful. So if you're early in the pregnancy, and you go into the process and they love you and they want to hire you, if it was me, I would probably let them know. And you might even want to go through the full process, and after they give you the offer, you might want to let them know and wait to see how they do that. I'd want to think about this a little bit more, but that's probably what I would do. And then I would talk to them about if they still, if this is still cool, if you really want the job and they want you, because if 6 months later, you need to be off for a month or 3 months, that's going to put them in a tough position. So I'm here again, I'm a fan of honesty. And, but I also want you to think about timing wise, if that makes sense for you. And here again, I don't know if that fully helped you, but if you have questions about that, because you're in the Mahalo Academy, you have access to me. So you can chime into the comments in the system, and I'll do my best to help you as we sort through this for you. So I hope that helps. All right, Kara, am I good with? I see Charles at 11:13, and Kimberly, and Ciotis, and Eric, and Sean. And Sean looks like he has a question. How are we doing on time? All right, I got a couple more minutes, folks. Hey, don't forget this guy. And if you're liking this, click the like button and make sure you're subscribed. Okay, let me see if I can get 1 or 2 more quick ones in here before I go. All right, Handy, if you're interviewing with multiple companies, how do you delay an offer from one company while waiting for potential other offers? So, first off, Sean, never, ever, ever, ever delay a sale, ever, in your life, okay? So what you want to do is you want to communicate, and you want to let all the employers know what you have going on and where you are in the process. And in turn, they should be communicating with you about the candidates that they have in the process. That's quid pro quo, okay? I'm sharing, you're sharing, we're both telling each other what's going on our sides of the fence, all right? If you are, you're down the road with an organization and company ABC is going to give you an offer, what you need to do is you need to say to company ABC, I'm receptive to the offer. I am in the process of interviewing with this other organization. You go to the other organization, you say, hey, these guys are about to make me an offer. You say it in a nice way. You're not saying, hey, you better hurry up, they're making me an offer. You just say, I'm just communicating with you that this organization is making is giving me an offer on Friday. So I want you to know that. I'm hoping that you'll either speed up the process or whatever, but that's effectively what you're implying. They don't need you to say that to them. Say I'm getting an offer. I wanted to let you know. That you don't even need to say anything else because they know, all right, we either need to hurry up or we need to slow down. Now, here's where the variations come in. If you like company 2 more than you like company 1, you say to company 2, hey, I'd prefer to work here. Okay, if that's in fact true. And say, I just want you to know because I prefer to work here. So they're going to give me an offer and they're going to want an answer. And I will do my best to ask them for as much time as they will be willing to offer me to make a decision. But I prefer to work here. And then you don't even have to say anything. And then let them say, okay, well, and if they're loving you, they'll try to expedite the process or start giving you hard dates to look forward to. That's what I would do. I would go back to the first company. If the first company is the one you prefer, you basically take it, right? You negotiate, you counteroffer and all that stuff. If it's not the one you prefer, the first one, you prefer the second one, let them know, say, hey, I really would like to finish out the process with this other organization. They've indicated to me that my next interview will be here or whatever it is, but as a courtesy and etiquette and being a cool dude, okay, you need to put some date by which you will make a decision that is reasonable. And if company 2 falls on its face and doesn't come through on the dates they provide, you need to make a decision. You need to make a decision. That's what I would say. Or actually, Sean, I guess you could be a woman, but I'm not sure. But anyway, but you get my gist. So that's what I would do. I'm a huge proponent of communicating. Hey, by the way, company 2, I'm interviewing my third round with company 1. That's tomorrow. They've indicated to me that that's my last round or something like that. You're always managing expectations. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is worse than you going back to company 2 and saying, I'm out of here. When company 2's, we love you. Why didn't you tell us, you were getting an offer or you were interviewing elsewhere or whatever. They hate that. So don't do that. Okay, hope that helps. All right. I'm going to sneak in Sam because I know Sam is in here week in and week out. Sam and all of you. All right. Listen to Dr. Andrew LaCivita. Trust is a trait and presentable. Yes. 4 agreements stand. Yes. Speak impeccably. Yeah. You know what? I love it. Okay, wait. That wasn't even a question, but you're still a great dude. All right. Kimberly, how should you address thank you email for interviewers a couple days later? Kimberly, I would address it the same way I addressed the other one. Just going forward, just make sure you send it within 24 hours. 2 days is not the end of the world, but I'm telling you, speed is important. Speed's important. All right, let me see if I can sneak one more in. Let me see. Salad Snake. I got you a couple times here. Let me see if there's. Okay, wait, this is a good one. Ludovico, I think that's how you pronounce your name. Hi, Andy. What do you think of a double column resume template for a recent master's degree graduate? So after career summary and career profile, you can put work experience and education both up top. Actually, this is a great question, phenomenal question. And if you are a recent master's degree, here's what you do. Don't muck with the template. Don't muck with the template. If it's simply a master's degree and you got a master's in computer science and you were an IT guy or computer science major or whatever, or if it was an MBA or something like that, all you need to do is at the end of your career profile, just put, you can do a couple things. You can put, recently received master's degree from Harvard, whatever. And just put it up there. Believe me, it will get caught. If, however, you are looking to make a career change, meaning we had a guy in the Mile Walk Academy in the job search boot camp, and super dude in his 40s, very entrepreneurial, had a very eclectic background, but he had an MBA and he recently went back to get a bachelor's in accounting. So what we did was we had a career profile. Then we had the education section for him to highlight his recent degree, almost like he was using the collegiate template that I offer. It's free. It's out there. You can go out there on YouTube or the Mile Walk Academy or the blog. But you could do that. Don't do multiple columns. You don't need that. And as a matter of fact, applicant tracking systems do not like that stuff. They want to see it text. The more plain text you have, the better. Believe me. But if you're looking to make a career change or a career pivot or something like that, or you want your recent degree noticed and it's a detraction from what you were previously doing, then you can put the whole education section up there. But if you're just continuing on and you happen to receive a master's in your field that you've already have work experience and previous degrees in, then you don't need to do that. Just put it up in the career profile. You will be fine. All right, folks, I got to run. 12:11. All right, so we went 11 over. It's okay because I love doing this. Let's see. Next week is Thanksgiving in the U.S., so I won't be here. So I think we're here the following week. And if you're on my email list, you'll get your normal Tuesday stuff. But make sure you're subscribed. Get the Interview Intervention book. Get me in the YouTube, on the YouTube channel or in the blog. And if I didn't get to your questions, now, the best thing to do is drop them right in the comment section of this video. So in a few minutes, you'll see this stream. The chat will go away for a short while YouTube is recording this, and then YouTube will release the live stream as a recorded video. Just go into the comments, drop it in there, and I'll do my best to answer them quickly. But I hope that helps. Everybody else be great. And for those of you that are in my focus group, see you tomorrow at 11 Central. Till then, everybody be great. We'll see you.